In your presidential race, and right now that's too early, but we can report that Biden is leading in Virginia.
Let's look at Georgia. It's a swing state this year. We don't usually say that. It's too early to call, but we're starting to get a few votes in. Let's go to South Carolina. Too early to call there as well.
In Vermont, we can project that Joe Biden is
in neighboring Georgia and up the coast in North Carolina.
All right, and we just projected Tennessee going to the president. No surprise there. Donald Trump, the winner of the 11th electoral. And we're coming up 8 o'clock on the East Coast, 5 o'clock in the West, and there are a bunch of polls about to close. 16 states plus Washington, D.C., including a couple of key battlegrounds just a few seconds away. We do have some results in Kentucky. The president is the projected winner. Not a surprise there. Let's go to some other states.
Yeah, Georgia, it's too early to call. North Carolina, too early to call. Ohio, also too early to call.
And let's look at South Carolina, also too
close to call. Note 82% expected vote in there. In Pennsylvania, too early to call. No surprise, that one's going to take a while.
Yeah, way too early. New Hampshire, also too early to call. Just a few votes in. In New Jersey, Joe Biden is the projected winner at this hour. And in Maryland, we've got Joe Biden as the projected winner.
NBC projecting Biden the winner in Massachusetts as well. Also in Delaware, Biden wins. Biden also the projected winner in D.C.
All right, and Oklahoma will go for the president. In Illinois, we are calling it too early, but Biden is leading in Illinois. He's led in the polls. Connecticut, same thing. Too early, but Biden is leading.
Here's what's happening in Alabama right now. Too early to call. Too early in Maine as well. Same story in Mississippi, Missouri. Biden leading in Rhode Island, but that one's too early to call. Trump leading in Tennessee.
All right, so where does that put us? We've just made some calls. Here we go. Let's get to the map of 270. That's how you get elected president in this country, as we show Tennessee, but I think we can roll the map. And now we've got a few more numbers to report. Joe Biden, not surprisingly, carrying those big cities in the east, and we see Donald Trump in some of his strong red territory. Chuck, this is unfolding as expected.
2020 election coverage. We have got another call that's in the state of Connecticut, and NBC News projects Joe Biden is the winner in Connecticut. Not a big surprise there.
The votes are rolling in. We're looking at Ohio now. It was a battleground for years and years, but it wasn't in 2016. Trump took it by 8, I believe.
Trump took it by 8 points.
It is also too early to call, as you might expect.
Michigan, too early to call.
Got some results in from Minnesota. Not many, actually. Too early to call there. Wisconsin, it's going to be a long one. And in New York, Biden will pull that one out and not shock anyone.
Colorado, too early, but Biden has a lead there. Kansas, too early. And Louisiana, too early to call. And Wyoming, it's too early to call. Trump with a lead there.
So let's put up our map of 270 and let's see how it shakes out at 9 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Pacific, and there you have it. Numbers don't.
Back, we've got a couple of new calls to make in the presidential race in Colorado. Biden is the projected winner. South Dakota, Trump, the projected winner.
Okay, so if you're keeping track at home, that's one apiece. Let's ring Garrett Haken.
Trump is the projected winner in North Dakota.
In Alabama, President Trump is the winner there. There's also a Senate race going on there. We'll check in with that in a few moments.
And looking at Florida once again, checking in there. It is too close to call, but Trump leads in Florida. And in Texas right now,
We've got Joe Biden prevailing in that state. It'll pick up New Mexico's 5 electoral votes. We're back right after.
As we come back from a break, a new call to make. This in the House of Representatives. NBC News projects that Democrats will maintain control of the House of Representatives.
All 435 houses, seats in Congress up for grabs on the House side. And so Nancy Pelosi, Andrea Wilbur. Welcome back. 10:30 in East, 7:30 out West. Louisiana's votes are in. NBC News is projecting Trump as the winner there. In Kansas, the president holds on and holds the state of Kansas. There's also a Senate race going on there.
In New Hampshire, it looks like Joe Biden will win. We project him as the winner. Florida in that race, too close. Trump leads, but that race still too close. Watching it very carefully.
Same story in Texas. It's too early to call, but the president does have a lead there, and North Carolina is getting just a little bit more interesting. It is too close to call there, and we've been watching that one real closely tonight.
Ohio would be bonus category, and right now it's too early to call. Too early in the Georgia presidential contest as well.
All right, let's keep it going. Here we go in Virginia. Too early to call, but Vice President Biden does have a lead there in Wisconsin. We can call it way too early to call. They still are counting votes there.
Pennsylvania, they'll be counting them for a while. Too early in Pennsylvania. Minnesota, which we were discussing a few moments ago, that's too early as well.
All right, let's go to Maine, which divides its electoral votes by congressional district. We're calling that too early to call, but we did see a split decision in 2016 with Donald Trump picking up one electoral vote there. We'll see what happens. And Arizona, too early to call. The vote is coming in fast and furious. Vice President Biden with the lead there in Arizona at this hour.
Let's take a look at Iowa right now. Too early to call. Nevada is too early as well.
All right, Montana, too early to call. We'll keep an eye on that race, and hope to give you some Senate races in a moment here as well. And in Utah, as expected, President Trump wins. So that brings us to 270.
So let's add them all up, and here's where they stand right now. Biden leading 98-92. Okay, Donald Trump, the projected winner in Missouri. That's brand new. Chuck?
Well, look, Missouri at one time used to be a swing state. It wasn't that long ago, but it's just not enough. This has become a very much more the rural numbers just.
Night coverage rolls on. It is 11 o'clock in the east, 8 o'clock in the west, and we have a bunch of results to report to you, including some poll closings. California just closed. Joe Biden, the projected winner there. Out west, Oregon, Joe Biden expected to win handily there. Oregon, 7 electoral votes.
Biden will sweep the Pacific Coast, as we're projecting that he will win in Washington, the state of Washington as well. Idaho, too early. Trump leads there, however.
We started the night talking about Florida. We'll start talking about Florida. It is too close to call at this hour, but the president is leading there. Republicans feeling good about that. In Texas, a similar story. It is too early to call, but the president has taken a lead in Texas.
We've been carefully watching North Carolina. That is still too close to call, but
to Chuck Todd, Nebraska, projected winner of 3 of 5 electoral votes. Do I have that right? That's what it
right
says.
now, right.
Yes.
Well,
you're waiting the congressional district.
Well, there's 2, right? So that sounds like we're not ready to call the first either, which would be Lincoln, but that's going to probably.
Right now, first in Mississippi, NBC News projects that Donald Trump will win in the state of Mississippi.
In Wyoming, President Trump takes it, which brings us to the map of 270, the road to 270. It's starting to fill out. We're just a few minutes away for some.
President Trump in the state of Ohio, NBC News projects that Trump will win Ohio and take its 18 electoral votes. It's a state that Joe Biden thought he might have a chance in and paid a visit there quite recently.
He did pay a visit there quite recently. It was less of a battleground than it's been in years past. Chuck, Ohio going to President Trump, that was on his must-do list.
It's definitely on his must-do, and as you can see, he's starting to pad a little bit of a lead here.
NBC projects Florida goes to President Donald Trump. We've been watching this all night. We've been very careful, but this is going to go into the Trump column, an absolute must-win for him.
Look at the difference, 380,000 votes. Let me go back here and take you back very quickly to Miami-Dade, just to remind you.
NBC News projects that Joe Biden will win Virginia's 13 electoral votes.
In Idaho, the president has won Idaho's 4 electoral votes. In Georgia, it's a squeaker. It is too early to call. We await, last check, a lot of votes still coming in the Atlanta suburbs, which could be telling. Let's go to North Carolina, too close to call. That is also a squeaker, to use the technical term.
Pennsylvania goes without saying at this point, too early to call there.
Maine is too early to call as well. We'll keep an eye on that one. In Arizona, it is too early to call. However, we are projecting that Joe Biden has a lead there.
Minnesota, it is too early to call. Michigan, too early to call as well.
And let's go to Texas. Too early to call, but the president has jumped out to a lead there in Texas, so we continue to watch that one. In Wisconsin, too early to call. We were just discussing that one with Chuck.
Iowa's too early to call, as is Montana. Nevada, we're just starting to see our first votes coming in from Nevada. That's too early to call. Hawaii.
Yeah, Nevada was one mentioned by Corey Lewandowski of the Trump campaign as a potential pickup for President Trump. We'll see if that plays out. The polls haven't suggested that. And in Hawaii, too early to call. We just got a poll closed there.
So let's look at where that stands in the race to 270. Joe Biden leading right now. That Donald Trump will win the 6 electoral votes in Iowa.
Okay, so Andrea, that's what I find to be so perplexing about this tweet.
Texas, too early to call. Trump leads, however. Whoop, I'm just sorry in my ear as those words came out of my mouth. Trump now is the projected winner in Texas. Again, Trump.
Surprise there. Rhode Island, Chuck scooped us, Lester.
It showed up. I was about to look for
Old
the little
news
guy.
now.
Yes, exactly. And in Maine, it's too early to call.
Biden will win the state of Minnesota 10 electoral votes. And Senator, I'll let you react to that. Apparent winner in the state of Wisconsin, 10 electoral votes. That was an important prize in the Democrats' blue wall. So again, NBC News projecting that Joe Biden, the apparent winner.
Stay with us. Michigan on your screen right now. This is a very big call that we are now ready to make. NBC News Decision Desk projecting the winner of Michigan, Biden. Vice President Biden with 49.8% of the vote to 48.6% for President Trump. Again, that is a key call that we've been waiting hours and hours for since last night. Kristen Welker's been talking about the blue wall. We've all been talking about it. We've been talking about Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Hallie Jackson at the White House. We now have Wisconsin blue on our map. We have Michigan blue on our map. That makes it significant.
After a very close race, NBC News now projects that Joe Biden has won the Keystone State, Pennsylvania, and its 20 electoral votes.
And that means we can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden has been elected President of the United States. He is President-elect Joseph Robinette Biden at 77 years old. Chuck, we'll turn to you. This map is a real interesting one, not necessarily the path that anyone thought would have unfolded, but here we are.
Here we are. Look, we got just enough vote in order to call Pennsylvania, even if it may slip into a recount. We think there's just mathematically nearly impossible for